This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about transmission line parameters and types of conductors. So my voice is audible to you.
It's audible, sir.
All right. So now we are going to start the first unit. In that first unit, first of all, you should have to know that what is the transmission line parameters and types of conductors. So we'll go for one by one. So we'll wait. Some of the students are joining. So already I was given overview on the subject electrical power transmission system. So what you are going to study on this subject and what are the topics you are going to know that. And so these are all you didn't study it in previous. So it is a new subject to you. So maybe diploma students studied about this type of topics and very interesting subject here. So we shall we go for topic, right? See, before already you know that generally we are generating the power generated by the generating plants. It should have to transmit to load. There is a need one medium, so that is called as transmission line. So why we are giving this much of importance to the transmission line means. So I will say one example to you. Suppose if you buy a new car, like whatever it may be, so a costless car if we want to go from one place to another place, if the road transportation is not good, there is no use to buy the new car. That is a high costly car. So the use and it means that if the transport is good. So there is a proper way you can use the new car. So that is the thing. So how much of power generated is not a matter. So it means that you have to deliver the power to the load in proper way without any losses. So that is the main reason the electrical engineers giving the main importance to the transmission line. And one more thing, there is some of the factors are affecting in them. Suppose if you consider the thermal power station, so we can generate the power. How much of coal is available on the station? So that is in our human hand. But in the case of transmission line, it is some of the factors depends on the environment condition also. So it should not controlled by the humans. So that's why before installing the transmission line, they have to analyze that. So what are the analysis means? Suppose if a transmission line established in particular area, what are the factors should be affecting on the transmission line? And how the transmission line is capable to carry the power, and if there is any losses, how we can reduce the losses. So these are and of parameters is completely depends on the transmission line parameters. So that parameters are called as inductance, capacitance, resistance, and conductance. Already you guys know that these parameters are involving the electrical circuit act as a major role. And one more thing, the performance of a transmission line, it completely depends on these four parameters. It means that how the transmission line is capable to carry the particular voltage level. So this one and all is completely depends on the resistance, inductance, and capacitance or conductance. And these parameters are uniformly distributed along the length of transmission line. So before that, what is the difference between distributed and lumped elements? Anybody can say that? What is the difference between distributed and lumped? So already this topic you studied in the control system. Anybody can say what is the difference between distributed and lumped elements? Suresh. Suresh is there? Rajendra?
Sir,
What is the difference between distributed and lumped elements? So whether it is right or not, you can say the answer. No problem. Anybody? Diploma students. What is the difference between distributed and lumped elements? So you can give the message also the chat box. No problem. Right. So nobody's answer right. So distributed lumped means suppose let me take the capacitor. So in consider the electron circuit, you can see the capacitor in that circuit. So by device itself. So that is called as lumped element. It means that lumped elements means we can easily replace and we can easily insert it in the circuit. But in the when it comes to the distributed element, so we can't able to see that device the element in device form. So it is completely inserted. So it is having the inner part of the device. So that is called as distributed element. Now, so finally, every electrical equipment it is seen by the equations and voltage equations. So that is the main reason why they are using electrical components. So every electrical components are there main concentrates on that these two parameters. One is efficiency and voltage regulation, whether it is good or not. So these two parameters are characterized found out by the this four, that is resistance, inductance, and capacitance, conductance. So what is the relation between conductance and resistance? What is the relation between resistance and conductance?
G is equal to 1 by R, sir.
Right. What is the units of conductance?
Sir,
What is the units of conductance? Units.
Mos or Mos.
Right. So these are the four parameters act as a vital role in the transmission line performance. Right. Now we go for how we can calculate these values. Right. So transmission line constant. Why? Because why it is called as constant means, so once we design the transmission line, we can't able to change these values. So it is already inserted. Suppose let me take human body. So if you take human body, every human body has some resistance value, right? So we can't able to change the resistance value. So it is naturally will be changing. So based on the temperature, based on the environment condition, it will be changing. So we can't able to boost up the resistance of a human being like that. This is also parameters of constants, and this constant should be depends on the environment conditions, type of material like that. Now, so every so just imagine that the transmission line as a circuit. So if a circuit consists of a number of elements, if you want to analyze that, suppose here you can see the diagram, right? So if we consider this diagram, it is, let's consider it is a circuit, and this circuit consists of a number of elements, that is resistance, inductance. These are connected in a series. If you want to analyze, if you want to solve this circuit, what you have to do, you should have to reduce the circuit. Already you guys did in the circuit, electrical circuits. So first of all, if you want to find any parameter in the circuit, you have to reduce the circuit by eliminating the series parallel combination. So when you can say that series and parallel combination means, if the current is same flowing to the any two devices, it means that the two elements are connected in series. If there is any changes occur, then it is called as a parallel connection. See now this is the circuit we are considering, and it consists of a number of resistance and inductance are connected in series here. Why? Because all elements are carrying the same current. So this is the source and it is the load, and this part is called as a transmission line. Now, if you want to analyze this circuit, you should convert it into short circuit by eliminating the series and parallel combination. Finally, we will get like this. So this is the way of analyzing the a complexity circuit. Now, after that, what we have to do is, see, the analysis of circuit becomes easier. So why? Because while calculating the every parameter current is difficult when compared to the small circuit. So that's why we are going to analyze by reducing the circuit. Similarly, so in previous circuit, the elements are connected in series. So there we can convert the circuit into small by series combination. So when comes to the parallel combination, you will get like this. And one more, you have to remember that in a circuit, resistance and inductance are always so most probably they're connected in series, and capacitance and conductance are connected in parallel. Why? Because these two capacitors are also act as a boost converters. That is a supply source. So that's why. So this is the way of analyzing that series circuit and parallel circuit. So now in transmission line, this parameter should be connected like this. Just imagine that. Now, but so previous section we seen only single line transmission line. Means that single means one phase, one neutral. Here the all elements are connected in single phase, and we reduced in the small circuit by using the series and parallel combination. Now that if you consider that, so if the elements are distributed, that is shown in figure, then the element cannot be combined. Why? Because there is no possibility of combining here. So why? Because why we can't able to combine means, since there is no current, no same current is flowing through each element. Suppose here we can say that here the current is flowing I1, and here I1 dash I2. So it means that there is no same current is flowing through the each and every section. So in this complexity condition, we can't able to reduce the circuit as we did in the previous, that is series parallel combination. Now let's consider a two-wire system, that is so phase one and phase two. So this is called a two-wire system, and resistance, inductance, capacitance, conductance are associated within this figure. Now this type of conditions, how we can reduce the circuit? Let me see that. So the circuit reduction is completely depends on that what is the current is flowing through the circuit. If the same current is flowing through the any two elements, we have to add. If there is any different currents, we should not add that. So that is you have to remember that. Suppose if you see this previous one, in top, that is a top element, that is R1 and L1. Similarly, R1 dash and L1 dash carrying the same current, that is I1. So I already said when the elements are carrying the same current, that two elements should be added. Why? Because so it means that there is a serial combination. So that's why if we reduce the circuit, we have how we can reduce means by adding these two elements, that is R1 dash, L1 and L1 dash. Similarly, R2 dash, L2 dash, R3 dash and L3. Why? Because here R3 is flowing I3. I2. So it means that the same current is flowing through this section. Now this will be becomes like this. See here. After eliminating the circuit, here the lower elements is combined to the upper. The finally we will get at R1T. That is the total resistance that is belongs to the unit one. So here there are different sections, section 1, 2, 3 like that. So up to this section 1, 2 and 3. So here the R1 dash should becomes to the R1T, that is total resistance. Similarly R2T. So this is the way of we can reduce the complexity circuit. That is in case of 2 wire and 3 wire. Now, so if you want to design the transmission line, what are the factors should be considered? Suppose whatever it may be. So if you want to buy a bike, what you are considering the elements. First of all, you should have to you can the factors considered by you. One is cost. Next one is what is the mileage of bike, like that. So you are considering the different parameters. So what that parameter, the considering parameter is nothing but analysis. See, analysis in the sense, if you design this circuit, if you design the transmission line, if it is capable or not. So that is called as analysis. So if you want to analyze anything, you should have to get some factors. So that is the factors and mentioned here. So and these factors are considering while designing the transmission line. So these are the 14 important new points, and these 14 points is constantly considering while designing the transmission line. The first one is type and size of conductor. So type and size of conductor, what is the meaning, what is the main intention of this point means, suppose transmission lines are made up of metals. So we have different types of metals. And one more thing you have to consider that which metal having the more electricity capacity. So that is the reason they are considering that the most important is type. In generally in electrical system, few metals are using. One is copper, aluminum, steel, iron. So these are the metals that we are using in the electrical system. So in that, so in transmission system, most probably we are using that aluminum and copper. Why? Because these two elements have more electrical conductivity. So there are some more metals are there, but economical point of view, these two are more convenient for the electrical transmission system. Suppose that consider the gold. So when compared to these two, gold has a more electrical conductivity. But in the case of cost, it is not economical. So that's why they are going for both only aluminum and copper. And size of conductors. So here size of conductors act as vital role. Why? Because I already said there are some losses happening in the transmission line. One is skin effect, corona effect, Perrotty effect, proximity. So these are the losses. In that, the major losses occur in the transmission line is corona effect. So corona effect is completely depends on that what is the size of conductor. So how we can reduce means if the diameter of the conductor will be increased, we can reduce the losses. Next one is voltage level. So based on the voltage level, so it means that if the voltage level increases, the size has to be increased. And next one is line regulation of and control of voltage, efficiency of transmission, corona loss. Power. So already said corona loss is completely depends on the diameter of transmission line. Note this point. So corona loss is completely depends on the diameter of transmission line. If the diameter will be increased, we can reduce these losses. And power flow capability and stability. So powerful. So when compared to the aluminum copper, so there are some parameters of difference. Like suppose if you consider the same electrical conductivity, when see the diameter, so aluminum diameter is more than the copper. So if you see that any electrical wire, the copper diameter should be very less, and aluminum diameter will be more. When come to the tensile strength means if you break down any conductor, if it is easily break down, then it has the less tensile strength. So here you can break down the aluminum wire easily when compared to the copper wire. It means that aluminum has the less tensile strength than the copper. Next, a requirement of compensation. So compensation is nothing but if there is any deviation in the voltage levels, we have to stabilize by using the compensation device like FACS device, other than. Next, level of faults at various bus bars and requirement of new circuit breakers. So this point is belongs to the protection scheme. So the fault is occur at a particular area. What is the protection scheme we have to provide there? Next, grounding needs, protection schemes for new lines, coordination of insulation, mechanical design aspects. So this point is related to the towers. So towers and insulators like that. So if you provide them good mechanical strength, there is no formation of sag here. So it can withstand when the wind is blowing very fastly. So one of the here mechanical support is the one of the factor while designing the transmission line construction. Next, design of power system architecture and economical aspects. So the last point is one of the burden for the electrical engineers. So why? Because if you want to construct the transmission line, there is need of some land. So in that, the landowner should be ask more amount. So for giving the land. So that is the main problem handling by the power system. So these 14 factors are depends on the well design in the transmission line. So these 14 factors are considering. Okay, na? Right. So let's go for so this is the different transmission line parameters and the factors should be considering while designing the transmission line. Now let me go for transmission line conductors. Right. So if you want to consider conductor, if you want to take a conductor in transmission line, it has some properties, right? So that properties are mentioned here. So these are the 5 properties definitely each and every conductor should have, and that should be capable to use in transmission line system. The first one is electrical conductivity and tensile strength. Already I said that if a metal can easily break down, means it has a less tensile strength. So you should not use that type of conductor in transmission line. Why? Because the transmission line should withstand by wind and temperature. So it means that it has the high tensile strength in order to withstand mechanical stresses. Next, third one is they should have less resistance and low cost. So what is the main reason? Means if it has the more resistance, there is no allowing of more current in the transmission line. So it means that some the pressure button will be happening in the transmission line. And one more thing, it should be low cost for economical point of view. Next one is they should have low weight per unit volume. So this term is used for the stack condition. If it is more weight, what will happen? The conductor should comes to the ground level. So that means the conductor weight level is low per unit volume. When compared to the aluminum and copper per unit volume, aluminum has the less weight when compared to the copper. So that's why most probably 90% in transmission lines we are using the aluminum conductor. The main reason is it is low weight when compared to the copper. And they should have low coefficient of expansion and low corona loss. So low coefficient of expansion means generally every metal should change its property based on the environmental condition. Suppose if you keep a metal in temperature, what will happen? It should be expanded here. If you say same thing, if you place this conductor in the cold place, it should be contract. It means that the coefficient of expansion should be depends on that. One of the factor for the conductor. So if the expansion is more, there is a chances to occur the sag. And one more thing, low corona loss. It means that you have to consider the conductor with high diameter, more diameter, then you can reduce the corona loss. So these are the 5 factors 5 properties should have the conductor while using the transmission line system. Next. So based on the this all properties, that is conductivity, tensile strength, corona loss, local conditions and cost of conductors are selected for a particular line. So finally they choose only two elements, that is one is copper and aluminum. So already I said, so if you want to buy any new thing, the first consideration economical, that is cost. So we have different types of conductors having the more electrical conductivity, but in the part of cost, they are more when compared to the copper and aluminum. That's why cost is a more problem in a power system, right? So that's why they are using that copper and aluminum and their alloys. So because they are cheaper in the cost and available more, right? So why they are using only two means these are the reasons. The first one is they have low cost, low resistance and corona loss, less weight, and aluminum has the larger diameter than the copper. So I already said, if you the same electrical conductivity property when comes to the diameter, aluminum has the more diameter and copper has the less diameter. And so if the diameter is more, what will happen? Corona loss we can automatically reduce it. So that's why they are using the aluminum in the overhead transmission line. See here, this is actually an advantage when corona is taken into the consideration. So because it is completely depends on the diameter. So it is the most important bit. So you will get in the competitive exams. So what are the factors affected by the corona? So what are the factors should be considered to reduce the corona losses? Means the first one is diameter. So diameter itself, we can reduce the corona loss happening in the transmission line. Next, if corona reduces considerably with increase in the conductor diameter. So while teaching you, I will say some important points. Just note on that. So it may use in future examinations, right? So these are the properties why we are using the copper aluminum transmission lines. So these 5 are advantages. Now we go for next one. Right. So in that, so by using aluminum copper, there are different types of conductors, we can say that. And here I will say you that. So what is the what is the difference between conductor and a strained conductor? Anybody have any idea about the conductor and strained conductor? So conductor in sense, there is only one metal, and strained conductor means the number of conductors should be makes a one conductor. So I will give an example. మీరు ఎప్పుడైనా ఒక పురుకో తీసుకున్నారా? పురుకో తీసుకున్నప్పుడు దాన్ని విడిదీయండి. సో ఒక్కొక్క లేయర్ ఒక్కొక్క తాడు వస్తుంది కదా, దాన్ని స్ట్రాండ్ అంటారు. స్ట్రాండ్, STRAND. సో దట్ మీన్స్, so if you make the one thread by using number of strands, what about strength? Its strength will be more. సో మీరు ఒక స్టాండ్ ని ఈజీగా తుంచొచ్చా, లేదా కంప్లీట్ గా డిఫరెంట్ స్టాండ్స్ కనెక్ట్ అయిన వైర్ ఒక తాడు తుంచొచ్చా? ఓకేనా? సో ఇట్ మీన్స్ దట్ if you make the one conductor by using the different strands, then its strength will be increases. But instead of using one wire, so instead of using single conductor, if you want to make the conductor by using different strands, its mechanical strength will be increased. So if you see here, so it is the strand conductor construction. So it means that the number of conductors are makes a one single conductor by using strand conduction. So what is the reason? Means in order to increase the tensile strength of a conductor, one or more central conductors of different materials are used. It means that suppose already we are using the one is aluminum and copper. In a diameter way, aluminum has the more when compared to the copper. In tensile strength of a point, aluminum has the less tensile strength. It means that we can easily break down the aluminum conductor when compared to the copper. So how we can overcome this problem is, so there is a aluminum. If you want to make the aluminum conductor, there is additionally one more metal it should be added to here. Then only we can make the tensile strength is more. So see here, in order to increase the tensile strength of a conductor, one or more central conductors of different materials are used. It means that with aluminum we have to use one more material to make the more tensile strength. So these materials give high tensile strength. So these 4 we are using the transmission system. So one is AAC, it means all aluminum conductor. Next, the second one is all aluminum alloy conductor. Third one is all aluminum conductor with steel reinforcement. So here, if you see this midpoint, so the central area is designed by the steel and outer area aluminum. What is the meaning of reinforcement? What is the meaning of reinforcement? Right. So this is aluminum conductor with alloy reinforcement. Right. What is the meaning of reinforcement? Anybody? Hussain Basha. Reinforcement meaning ఏంది?
Waterproof, sir.
కాదు. Sir, reinforcement is nothing but a additional strength. So అదనపు బలం అంటారు. ఓకేనా? అల్యూమినియం కండక్టర్ విత్ స్టీల్ రెయిన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్ అంటే అల్యూమినియం కండక్టర్ కి స్టీల్ యాడ్ చేయడం వల్ల దీనికి అదనపు బలం చేకూర్చామని. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ రెయిన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్. రెయిన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్ ఇస్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఏ అదనపు బలం, రైట్? So if you using this steel reinforcement with aluminum conductor, it mechanical this tensile strength will be increased. So we are providing the additional strength to this aluminum conductor. The same thing here also, aluminum conductor with alloy reinforcement. So the central limb is called as alloy. So if you use this alloy, the strength will be increasing to the conductor. So that is the meaning of reinforcement. Reinforcement is nothing but providing the additional strength of the conductor. Now we go for next slide. Right. So if you see this layer, so how we can calculate that diameter and what are the layers? Suppose if you want to make a conductor. So I will draw one circuit. So this is the central conductor, that is central point. So there is a different layers we have to add for become the more tensile strength, mechanical strength. So now the problem is how many layers we have to provide per particular voltage level. So that is the thing I am going to explain here. Suppose see here the conductor side is decided based on the how much of current is carrying. So that is the consideration and voltage levels. So these two parameters are acting vital role to decide the conductor side. Now, if you see this diagram, this is a strained conductor. Strained conductor means different layers and every central. So this is the central limb, and in that central limb there are different. So we have 3 layers: 1, 2, 3. So in 3 layers we have, and so these 3 layers. So how many conductors are required? So that is the formula we are using here. So the formula is 3n square plus 3n. 3n plus 1. So here n is a layer, number of layers. So we have 3 layers, right? Just solve this equation. If n is equals to 3, what you will get? If n is equals to 3, what is the value of this equation? If n is equals to 3, what is the value of the equation? $25. No, wrong answer.
37, sir.
37, sir.
37. Okay, now let you see that 37. So it means that for making this whole conductors, 37 small conductors are needed. Just count these conductors. ఈ కండక్టర్స్ కౌంట్ చేయండి. 37 ఉన్నాయి లేదా చూడండి ఒకసారి. So see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So the outer area having the 18 conductors, right? Now second one, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the second layer consists of 12 conductors. Next third, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the third layer is consists of 6. Next one is central limb. So let me add total 10, 16 and 17 and 1, 2, 3. So that is 7 we got. So this is the formula we have to use, that how many conductors are needed for 3 layers, 6 layers, 4 layers, 2 layers, like that. So this is the most important equation. So this equation also you will get in competitive exams. So what is the equation is used to find out the conductors? 3n square plus 3n plus 1. And next one is here the small d is gives the information about diameter of each conductor in the whole conductor. And if you want to find the total conductor diameter, we have to use this formula, that is 2n plus 1 into d. So note down these two formulas, very important. So I will ask again. So capital D is the total conductor diameter and small d is the individual conductor diameter. The formula is 2n plus 1 into d. So just note down these two equations. This is very important equations in competitive exam. Now if you see this Next, so how many layers are required for different parts means I will say you. Suppose if you stand conductors a central wire surrounded by the structure. Suppose if you see this, so this is the 3-layer conductor, right?
హలో సార్.
చెప్పు.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు టోటల్ డి క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసినప్పుడు 2n+1 ఇంటూ డి కదా సార్.
అవును.
అంటే మధ్యలో ప్లేస్ చేసినప్పుడు స్పేస్ అనేది ఉంటుంది కదా సార్ కండక్టర్స్ కు.
సో ఆ స్పేస్ లేకుండా స్ట్రెయిన్ చేస్తారు. జస్ట్ ఈ స్ట్రక్చర్ ఈ విధంగా కనిపిస్తుంది. సో మీరు కండక్టర్ కనుక చూస్తే స్పేస్ ఏమైనా కనబడుతుందా? ఒక కండక్టర్ చూస్తే ఇట్ ఈస్ ఓవర్లాప్ టు ఈచ్ అదర్, దెర్ ఇస్ నో స్పేస్ ఇన్ బిట్వీన్ దట్. ఒకవేళ స్పేస్ కనుక ఉంటే దెర్ ఇస్ ఎ ఛాన్సెస్ టు షార్ట్ సర్క్యూట్. ఓకేనా? సో ఇంకోటి చెప్తానండి. సో మీరు ఎప్పుడైనా నవార్ మంచం చూసారా? సో నవార్ మంచం ఉన్నప్పుడు నవార్ అలుగుతా అంటారు. ఓకేనా? నవార్ అల్లేటప్పుడు ఆ ఒక తాడికి ఒక తాడికి గ్యాప్ ఏమైనా వస్తుందా? ఒక 5 లేయర్స్ తీసుకొని దాన్ని అలుగుతారు అనుకోండి ఒక తాడు లాగా. దానికి ఒకవేళ ఎయిర్ గ్యాప్ ఒక గ్యాప్ అని వస్తే ఏమవుతుంది? అది లూజ్ గా ఉంటుంది. సో గ్యాప్ లేకుండా దే ఆర్ మేకింగ్ ద థ్రెడ్. సిమిలర్లీ హియర్ ఆల్సో దే ఆర్ మేకింగ్ ద కండక్టర్ వితౌట్ ఎనీ స్పేస్. సో మీకు ఇక్కడ స్ట్రక్చర్ లో ఈ విధంగా స్పేస్ కనబడుతుంది కానీ బట్ ఇన్ రియల్ టైమ్ యూ కాంట్ ఏబుల్ టు సీ ద స్పేస్. సో every conductors are overlap to each other, there is no space. So at that time there is no change in diameter. Okay na? Suppose if you see this, so this if it is 3-layer means this amount of that is 18 conductors, 12, 6, these are the standard conductors. Suppose if a stand conductors of a central wire surrounded by successive layers, ante dini successive 1 2 3 successive layers antaru. సో ఇక్కడ ఫస్ట్ లేయర్ లో కంపల్సరీగా మీరు 6 కండక్టర్స్ ప్లేస్ చేయాలి. సో యూ కాంట్ ఏబుల్ టు యూస్ మోర్ దాన్ 6 ఆర్ లెస్ దాన్ 6. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద స్టాండర్డ్ వాల్యూ. 6, 12, 18, 24 like that you have to arrange that. If it is 4-layer means the outer layer consists of a 24 conductors. So if it is 2-layer means the first layer consists of a 6 conductors and second one is 12. So these are the standard values. First layer consists of a 6, second layer consists of a 12 conductors, third one is 18, fourth one is 24. So these are the standard conductors well designing the layers of a total conductor, right? Note on this also. So this is the way of calculating that how many for different layers how many conductors are needed and what is how we can calculate the total diameter of the conductor. Next, we will go for one by one conductors. So we have 4 conductors, right? That is the AAC, AAAC, and AC aluminum conductor, steel reinforcement. Next, aluminum conductor, alloy reinforcement. Now we will see that one by one. The first one is aluminum conductor, all aluminum conductor. In that, if you observe this diagram, the entire, so if you choose them, there is no layers అనేవి సిరీస్ గా అంటే స్ట్రైట్ గా లేవు. సో ద డైరెక్షన్ షుడ్ బి డిఫరెన్స్. ఓకేనా? సో ఈ విధంగా వచ్చినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే ద స్ట్రెంత్ విల్ బి ఇంక్రీజ్. నెక్స్ట్, సో దిస్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ కండక్టర్ కన్సిస్ట్ ఆఫ్ 99.7% aluminum. So it means that the conductor is completely manufactured by the aluminum conductors and it has the high resistance to corrosion. So corrosion in the sense, if you consider the aluminum and copper, if you keep these 2 metals in the water, when compared to these two, copper has the more corrosion than the aluminum. It means that copper త్వరగా చిల్లుం పట్టేస్తుంది aluminum తో పోలిస్తే. So that's why transmission line conduct, this is the one of the reason we are using the aluminum in the transmission line conductors. Why? Because transmission lines are traveling the environmental conditions. So that's why the aluminum is the high resistance to the corrosion. So you should not corrosion in partially when compared to the copper. Next, installed in coastal areas. So this type of conductors they are using in the coastal areas. Why? Because in coastal areas there is more chances to get the heavy rains. సో రైన్స్ అనే ఛాన్సెస్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటాయి. సో ఎక్కువసేపు రైన్ పడుతుంటాయి కాబట్టి ఈ కరోజన్ రెడ్యూస్ చేయడానికి దే ఆర్ యూజింగ్ ఇన్ ద కోస్టల్ ఏరియాస్. నెక్స్ట్ వన్ ఈస్ low tensile strength, therefore permit low span length. It means that this type of conductors we are using in the short transmission lines. It means that less than 100 kilometers, like 50, at that condition we are using this type of conductors because of lowest tensile strength. If you are using the long transmission line, there is a chances to occur the sag. Why? Because the tensile strength will be less to the aluminum conductors. Inkoti, when the storms and wind will be blown on this conductor, there is a chances to break down because of low tensile strength. So this is about all aluminum conductor, and this is the drawback for this conductor. If you want to overcome this drawback, we should have to use that additional reinforcement to this conductor by using the steel or alloy. Next, second one is all aluminum alloy conductor. It means that this type of conductor, all strands of aluminum alloy. So it is a alloy material. So it is not aluminum. So it is a alloy of aluminum alloys, and it has a good tensile strength and allow more span length than AAC. So it means that you can use these conductors more length of transmission line than the AAC. And this type of conductors and transmission lines we can use in the railway crossing, river crossing, and hilly areas. So these type of questions they will ask in the competitive exams. So they will give 4 options, that is this 4, and which conductor we can use in the railway crossing, which conductor we can use in the river crossing, which conductor we can use in the coastal lines, like that they will ask. So you should aware about this type of conductors, and it has the moderate resistance to the corrosion. So when compared to the AA, that is all aluminum conductor, it is somewhat better in the point of corrosion. So next we go for a third one, that is aluminum conductor as steel reinforced. So steel reinforcement is nothing but we are providing the additional strength to the aluminum conductor by adding the steel. So if you observe this central limb, it is a steel metal. After that, there are number of layers we are providing that. So let's consider it is a 3 layer. So it means that it requires 37 conductors, right? So just they are using like this. So sorry, it is not 3 layers, it is 4 layers. So we have to use that 3 power 3 square plus. So that is the equation we have to use that, and it has the high tensile strength, moderate expansion, and higher span length than AAC. So when compared to the previous two, we can use this more length of transmission line. So in that, if you see this performance wise and tensile strength, so there is a differences between this. So AAC is better. AAC is not better than AAAC. So these are the steps, and ACSR. Last one is ACAR. So this is the first one, and after if you work on this drawback by the AAC, you go for this one, and last, third, and fourth. So these are the step-by-step parameters we are considering here. Next one is last one, that is aluminum conductor alloy reinforced. So in this type of conductor, we are placing the central core is a alloy of aluminum, and so if you providing this aluminum alloy, then the conductivity will increase and its strength of the ratio also increase. And it has the if you providing this alloy as a reinforcement, its electrical parameter should be increasing. That is the electrical conductivity, and also mechanical strength also increases. And ACAR conductors may be used in the overhead transmission lines as well as distribution. In present condition, in transmission lines, we are using this type of conductor, that is ACAR. So one of the question I'll ask, so what are the conductors we are using now in the transmission line? That is ACAR, that is aluminum conductor alloy reinforcement. Now I will show you that what are the difference among these 4. So I will show you one video. So we have only 5 minutes. I will show you that. See, if you have any doubts in this, can you ask? Hussain Basha, Jayaswar Reddy, do you have any doubts? Right. So now I will show you a video that should be a comparison among these four. So there is some differences, right? So that I will show you that.
आज की इस वीडियो में मैं 4 टाइप्स ऑफ कंडक्टर।
So actually this is in Hindi language, that's why I muted here. So these are the comparison among these three, that is WAR, AAR, ACSR. So these are the difference, that is one of the use, tensile strength, span, weight, and corrosion protection and conductivity. So among these six, there are differences. So for the first one, already said, all aluminum conductor we are using in the coastal line region. Why? Because in coastal line there are chances to get heavy rains. So there is chances to get corrosion. Right? So that's why aluminum is more resistance among the corrosion. That's why we are using this type of conductors in the coastal area. And this type of metal consists of a 99.7%. So it is one of the most important point. So percentage also important. There is no, so these are the constant parameters, that is the equations and this percentage levels like that. Right. Next one is second one. So that is the AAC. So this type of conductors we are using the railway crossings and switchyard bus bars like that. So this is the second, the first difference is uses. So in the uses point of view, all aluminum conductor we are using the coastal lines, and the second one is all aluminum alloy conductors we can use in the railway crossing, metro lines, switchyards, and bus bar sections. So overhead transmission lines and distribution transmission lines in the sense. So transmission line, when compared to the transmission and distribution, there is a two differences. One is its length and its voltage level capacity. Suppose if you take that transmission lines, it is capable to carry that 132 kilovolts, 400 kV, 220 kV. When comes to the distribution, it will be stepped down to the 66 kV, 33 kV, 11 kV, 230 volts, and 220 volts, 430 volts. So that are the two differences in between that overhead transmission lines and distribution lines. In overhead transmission lines, it is completely three-phase lines. In distribution, somewhere it is three-phase, somewhere it is single-phase. So distribution in the sense consists of a three-phase loads as well as single-phase load, right? So this is the major difference between overhead transmission lines as well as distribution lines. Are you clear about this? So this is the main one is all aluminum alloy conductor we can use in the heavy ice area. So this is the this conductor we are using in the cold countries. So that is the reason we are using it here. So this is the one of the application use of AAC. Next, AC air aluminum conductor steel reinforced. So presently we are using this type of conductor in transmission system. So that is overhead transmission system, and AC air conductor is available in the range of steel strength varying from 6 to 40%. It means that in the conductor, that is ACSR conductor, what is the amount of steel will be providing? That is it is also constant value, 6% up to 40%. This is the range we are using the steel metal in the ACSR conductor. So this is the one of the important question. So ఈ క్వశ్చన్స్ అన్ని మీకు స్లిప్ టెస్ట్ అడుగుతాను అంటే మిడ్ ఎగ్జామ్ లాగా. So what is the percentage of steel we are using in that ACSR conductors? What is the range? So that is 6% to 40%. So just note on that. So when compared to the mechanical strength, ACSR is greater than AAC is greater than AAC. So it means that WS is has a less mechanical strength and it has the less when compared to. So this is the flow chart for the in point of mechanical strength point of view and tensile strength point of view. Right. So I will send you this video link after that. So these are the different types of conductors and their properties and their applications and their behavior and the applications, right? So this is about types of conductors we are using in the transmission line system. Now from next class we are going to know about how we can calculate the resistance, how we can calculate the capacitance, and how we can calculate the inductance for the particular transmission line, right? So till now this is about, so you don't have any idea, any doubts about this class? Right. So I'm going to end up this class. Thank you for all.